Idols are designed to be idolized, someone people look up to as a perfect being.
That one I disagree. There's no such a thing as a perfect being, especially a lot of K-pop fans. They take it too far to a point where like these guys, it's like you guys act like they can make mistakes, like they're not human beings. Nobody's perfect, I mean, except kids, innocents. But these are just beings, just like everybody else. They go to sleep, they eat, they get emotional, they cry, they get angry, just like us. The only difference is that they're just popular. We see them on TV, and maybe they make more money than us. Really, that's the difference. So stop idolizing human beings, okay? You can admire somebody, but just don't idolize them.
Look at BTS's rap line. RM, Sugar, and J-Hope aren't just rappers,
Bingo.
they're producers and songwriters who've contributed extensively to BTS's discography, and of course G-Dragon.
Welcome to Dawn TV!
I don't even know what day is. Today's Monday, Tuesday. God damn, time is flying. But anyway, I'm gonna react to today's not music, something different. The question is, K-pop idols can never be true musicians. What does that exactly mean? The title is a little bit controversial. I don't want to judge based by the title, but let's get into it.
K-pop idols aren't music artists anymore. They're more like TikTokers, or better yet, influencers. Because
I mean, that's why you gotta follow trends. If you're in a music industry, if you wanna be popular, if you wanna be making money, if you wanna be, be on top of every chart. Everybody nowadays does TikTok. Even you see those big like gangster rappers. Everybody's on TikTok nowadays. Everything changes. Nothing good lasts forever.
what's the difference? Idols these days are lip syncing, jumping on to create trends.
Everybody lip syncing. Not just South Koreans artists, even in the West. Everybody. With this auto tune, most people can't really sing on the stage. That's common. Everybody knows that. Back in the days, people used to have talented. Like to make it in the music industry, you have to actually be so talented. You have no idea. But I know most people can sing, but they just don't want to. Why would you work too hard? I mean, don't work too hard. Work smarter, not too hard. I mean, I'm not gonna go in the studio and like just screaming when I could just put autotune, since everybody's doing it. If Beyonce can do autotune, who am I not to do it? You know what I mean? I'm not encouraging it. I'm just saying, like, if it works, it works. You know what I mean?
And creating viral moments, but not real music. This is what the average K-pop group has become in 2024, focused on visuals, aesthetics, and personality, while ignoring the one thing they should prioritize: music. It feels like no one in K-pop is taking the art form seriously anymore.
Are you serious? Who is this guy? I don't want to judge too fast.
Except for a select few. And when companies tell their idols to sing live, netizens often come for their necks. In this video, we will dive into why idols often remain trapped in the K-pop system and, despite their undeniable talent, why they might never be recognized as true musicians. But what's really the difference between a musician and a K-pop idol?
Yeah, tell me about it. What's the differences between a musician and a K-pop idol? Okay.
A true musician is someone who has control over their music, their lyrics, their sound, and actively plays a role in creating what they perform.
I mean, that's true, but at the same time, who has control over their music, their lyrics? I mean, some people can be good writers, but they can't sing. You know, trust me, even Michael Jackson had writers. Everybody got writers, especially if you sing. Rapping, that's something different. You have to actually write your own music. You know what I mean? Because you don't require to have some type of voice. Like you don't have to hit those vocals. You know what I mean? But singing, you don't have to be a lyricist. You can just find writers and just give them credit. You know? Yeah.
And prioritize music as the most important thing in their profession. To become more marketable, many musicians learn to play multiple
That's my favorite rapper, by the way, Kendrick Lamar. He's killing it right now.
instruments or experiment with various styles. They're involved in every aspect of their craft, from songwriting to production. Now, what
Songwriting to production, I don't think you have to be a producer to do music. I mean, you don't have to know how to do production to be a musician. Like I said, there's a reason why there's a producer, there's a singer, there's a songwriter, there's somebody who do marketing, promotion, there's label. You need a team, you know? You can't be just one person who's full package. I mean, I produce, I make beats, I shoot videos, I write my songs, but it's hard, it's tough. You need a team. You can't do everything by yourself to be considered a really musician, you know what I mean? This music thing is business, it's not just music. Because most fans, a lot of fans, you don't know what's going on behind the scene. All you do, you just receive a final product in front of you right there on the screen. But you don't know what goes into that product until it comes in front of you. It's a lot of work, you know?
is an idol? An idol is someone who sells their image, which must align with certain beauty standards and
Someone who sells their image, which must align with certain beauty standards. Idol. I mean, an idol can also be somebody you look up to, you know, somebody who set good example in life. It depends with what kind of music they do, you know, the message that comes out of their music. If they inspire you, you know, you can. I mean, I don't idolize celebrities. I don't know why people idolize celebrities. I don't do that. I hate that word idol, you know?
characteristic traits on camera.
Exactly. And when somebody become an idol, if you start idolizing idols, how you guys call them, I don't like to call them like that. It's like you're worshiping somebody. You feel me? It's like the same thing I don't want to bring Bible stuff, but it's like you're worshiping them. They're idols. My only idol is, you know, the man up there. I can't idolize humans, you know. You can inspire me through something you're doing musically or anything in life. I can be inspired by you. I can be a fan, not about your lifestyle, just what you bring to the table, you know, something that I can learn from you. But idolizing somebody, nah, I cannot do that.
They are placed in a specific box of expectations. Every action and
Man, look how smooth that is. That real? Is that the real skin? That is so smooth. You can't even see the. God damn.
appearance on
Look, all of them.
camera must meet particular criteria and standards. Most often, they are expected to be perfect in every aspect, whether it's dancing, singing, looks, personality.
Of course, that's the business they are into. Every business you do, perfection is required. You have to be perfect. I'm not saying everybody's perfect. You know, if you have a restaurant, everything has to be perfect. You have to satisfy your customers. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, then you will never be able to sell a product. Everything have to be perfect, you know? That's, maybe, I don't know if I'm reaching.
Rapping or performing. Idols are designed to be idolized, someone people look up to as a perfect being.
That one I disagree. There's no such a thing as a perfect being, especially a lot of K-pop fans. They take it too far to a point where like these guys, it's like you guys act like they can make mistakes. Like they're not human beings. Nobody's perfect, you know. I mean, except kids, you know, innocence. But these are just beings, just like everybody else. They go to sleep, they eat, they get emotional, they cry, they get angry, just like us. The only difference is that they're just popular. We see them on TV, and maybe they make more money than us. Really, that's the difference. So stop idolizing human beings, okay? You can admire somebody, but just don't idolize them.
A person they believe is the best companion who can fix all their problems and make them feel like they're in heaven. They are products created by companies to make fans feel as if they're in a relationship with their idol.
Yeah, most people are very manipulated. Some people take way too fast. They take it way too far. Do you guys ever heard this song by Eminem? I don't know. He was rapping about his fan. You can be a fan, but when you become a stan, that's when you know you cross the line. I don't know what song was that. He wrote. It's like he was writing a letter about this fan who was taking things way too far. You know, you become a fan to a stan, that's a red flag.
However, despite all this, idols often lack creative freedom. So, what's holding these idols back? The answer lies in the system. K-pop's training structure is intense, with a primary focus on perfecting performance skills. From a young age, trainees endure a rigid routine of singing, dancing, and fan interaction training. But
I mean, if you put your, I'm pretty sure everybody who gets into this business, they are very aware exactly what's going on in it. It's like something you go in the military. Nobody's gonna go easy on you. You have to be tough. So when you join these K-pop bands, you sign those contract. Nobody's forcing you. Nobody's putting a gun on you. You know, I hate when people start complaining this, and you made that decision for yourself. You know,
the focus isn't on creating music. It's about creating a product that can please everyone. However, it's not just the system anymore. It's also the individuals. I could name names, but let's be honest, the amount of backlash I'd get isn't worth it. The truth is, many idols today aren't entering the industry to express themselves or create music. Instead, they're chasing fame, brand deals, and the chance to
I didn't know that.
become ambassadors for luxury fashion brands. This system leaves idols with little to no creative input when it comes to their music. Producers, writers, and labels make most of the key decisions. Idols.
I mean, that's always been the business. Like I told you, you know, it's something being a president. Right? Being a president of the country, there's people behind you. All the decisions you're making, they're not just coming from you. You know, things go through Congress, Supreme Court, whatever that is. I'm not into politics. It's something with artists. Like I said, you represent the product in front of you that's already done, you know? But you don't know what's behind the image that you're seeing in front of you, you know what I mean? It takes time, hard work to achieve anything really, and you have to have a team behind you, you know? There's nothing wrong with that, me personally.
Perform the songs, but they don't own them. Think about it. How many idols do you know who genuinely write their own songs or lyrics?
There's nothing wrong with that. If you got the voice, God can't give you everything. You know what I mean? There's some people who are good writers, like I said before, but they can't sing. And some people can sing, but they can't write. You know what I mean? You have to balance things. There's some artists who can produce, but some producers who can make beats, who can mix the song, but they can't sing. You know what I mean? Everything we do in life is teamwork. You know what I mean? Like, It's really not that deep.
Sure, some do, but there are exceptions, not the rule. The constant pressure to perform and satisfy fans leaves little room for genuine artistic exploration. Of course, there are idols who break the mold and strive to become true musicians. Look at BTS's rap line. RM, Suga, and J-Hope aren't just rappers,
Bingo.
they're producers and songwriters who've contributed extensively to BTS's discography and even released their own solo work. And of course, G-Dragon.
I told you guys, there's a reason why he's always been my favorite artist.
A pioneer known for pushing boundaries in K-pop, his experimentation with sound and artistic contributions have been monumental. But even with fame and talent, the industry limits what they can do. The reality is harsh. This system is designed to churn out content quickly and efficiently so their groups can stay relatable. That means idols will always be bound by contracts, prioritizing profitability over creativity. K-pop fans also play a significant role in this. We demand idols to be everywhere, on TV shows, social media, commercials, and more. Fans go crazy when they don't see their idol for a week. The demand is relentless, leaving labels no choice.
You know, fans can make things worse, you know? Like I said, you don't have to, don't be so obsessed with celebrities. You know, just enjoy the music, you know, really, it's not really that deep, you know what I mean? Dang, I feel like some fans worship these celebrities, you know? I admire musicians, you know, I don't care about their lifestyle, who they're dating, where they sleep. I don't care about that. I just care, just give me good music, you know? It's something when you go to a restaurant, you don't care who cooked the food, how was it cooked, how long, you just want to eat, you know? It's why everything is so complicated. Why people make things so complicated?
But to overwork idols, giving them no time to sit down and create their own music. And it seems like many fans aren't even bothered if their idol is singing live or just lip syncing. In fact, some fans actively defend it, arguing that everyone else does it or labeling anyone who criticizes it as a hater. But here's the problem. When there's no criticism or demand for live vocals, how can change ever happen? If idols aren't held accountable or encouraged to sing live, they'll naturally grow more comfortable relying on lip syncing.
Like I said, the auto-tune is working over time, you know what I mean? And most fans don't care because some of them are really not into, they don't understand how music works. You know, there's fans who actually understand music. Some people enjoy live, you know, live singing, like you gotta sing live. And some people, they don't care as long as they see those LDE lights moving back and forth. They gotta take a little snap, and that's all they care about, you know? Everybody got their own way to enjoy, you know, these concerts. I don't know.
It creates a cycle. Companies prioritize visuals and performance over vocal authenticity because fans don't demand otherwise. And in turn, idols are less motivated or even given the chance to push their boundaries as musicians. The sad truth is that this apathy from fans plays a significant role in keeping the system stagnant. So the question is, are fans really ready to see idols as musicians? Or are we, as fans?
Most fans, they don't even know what that means. You know, they don't.
Fans, part of the problem. What's sad is that idols often get labelled as talented performers, and sometimes even talentless, but their potential as musicians is stifled. Their careers are already planned, with no room to experiment or fail. The very fundamentals part of growth. K-pop labels make enormous profits off idols, but these artists rarely experience the same creative fulfillment. There are exceptions who break through the system, but for most idols, becoming a true musician isn't even on the table, and many don't even aspire to be one. Instead, they remain part of a machine, entertainment factories churning out idol after idol.
I mean, we can't all be rich. It's something people work 9 to 5, right? You're not gonna say, oh, I'm not gonna go to work today because I'm making that guy rich. You know, you have to go. You have no choice. That's how life is. And then I feel like most artists, they just love doing music. Most of them, it's not just about money. They just love doing music. Have you ever heard when people say, music is my life, I can't live without music, It's not just always about money. Of course, they get used. Those companies make a lot of a lot of money, big profits. But at the same time, they get paid too. You know what I mean? They get paid. So, and they love what they do, because they have a choice and they sign those contracts. So it's always like, that's how the system works. Everybody gotta work for somebody else. We can't all be bosses,
prioritizing marketability over artistry. Don't get me wrong, there are incredibly talented.
But the only difference is with the K-pop in America is that in America, most artists have a freedom of doing whatever they want. You know what I mean? They can buy houses, they can date, they can smoke, drink, they can do whatever, as long as they get back to work, because they signed the contract. The only thing about K-pop is all those over controlling somebody. They can't smoke, they can't do this, they can't date until certain times. That's the only thing I really disagree. Other than that, it's the same show,
Talented idols out there. Their performances are on fire, their charisma is unmatched. But the industry they're in doesn't prioritize their evolution into true artists. If you found this video eye-opening, hit that like button and subscribe for more. And let me know, what do you think? Is there a way K-pop idols can break free from this mold and become the musicians they deserve to be?
Yes, they can. I mean, G-Dragon already does that. I mean, the only way to do it is to go independent. If you want to, like, who's that artist, Jay Park, he's independent, right? He gets to do whatever he wants. I mean, that's the only way you can do it. Because if you don't want to be controlled, if you don't want to be under somebody, then you got to break the chain loose, you know what I mean? It's same thing in your house. If you live with your parents, their house, their rules. If you don't like the way it is, just get out and go get your own apartment, and then you can do whatever you want. It's really that simple, This video was kind of, nothing new, same shit as all the time. But anyway, yeah, that's, I just thought I should react to this. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I'll see you. I'm out.